Hello, everybody. We have made it back. It's good to be speaking to all of you again. We just got back from the front lines in Ukraine. I'm here with Caolan Robertson, who invited me on this trip and has been there by my side during these crazy experiences. Thank you again, Caolan, for that. But we have a lot to explain. We were planning today to come back like this, feeling more safe in Kyiv compared to the front lines, and then reflect on those experiences. And we have a ton of footage and content that we'll be posting over the coming days to explain what's going on there, the soldiers that we spoke to, the constant threats, the explosions that were happening all around where we were staying, where the Russians are, all of that stuff we'll get to over the coming days. It'll take a second. But one of the things we were talking about is, as we're coming back to what felt like a safer spot, we're pulling into the city, and as we're driving into Kyiv, a huge missile and drone attack was underway.
Yeah, I mean, I get air alerts on my phone, so I can detect whatever's going to come into the city, whether it's a drone, whether it's a missile, and it's pretty accurate. And we were crossing the Dnipro River, which is the main river that goes through here in Kyiv, and the sun was just starting to rise. And I guess we were all chatting in the car about this sense of relief. We're back in Kyiv. It's got the blanket of air defense. Finally, we can have a good night's sleep, because we weren't sleeping too well in the Donbass. Artillery every 20 seconds. And I remember turning around to you and saying, there are 3 cruise missiles headed to the city in 3 minutes. That was a minute ago. And as if by clockwork, literally, we watched all 3 go steaming 2,000 miles an hour across the river, smash into the city center, and we followed the smokestack. And I mean, what was your reaction to what we saw? It hit bang on 10-minute walk from here.
Yeah. So as you said, the sky lit up. I don't know. The thing that I keep coming back to is, I think that people have become so numb to hearing about stories like this. Oh yeah, another missile strike. Okay, oh, another building. Oh, people die. And it's easy to glide past it because we're surrounded by devastating headlines. But to really not just see the impact, both the explosions that were happening where we were, but then also here to actually see, we didn't see a missile, to actually see the physical missile going through the sky and then hitting is a whole different experience, and that much more tragic, and kind of puts a face to the headlines that I think, like I said, people are getting numb to. And then we showed up literally before a single first responder had gotten there, and were some of the first people to arrive in one of the sites of the attack, and it was just catastrophic,
and actually pretty rare to be able to see something like that, because I went back 2 hours later and the whole area was cornered off, and that's because it was actually pretty dangerous. The facades of these buildings were still falling onto the street. Windows, bricks, things are still exploding, gas pipelines, so they want to make sure no one's nearby. But you got to see, I guess, it was an opportunity to see the heart of Russian terrorism straight up within minutes of it happening, and people pulled out in stretchers. And I guess this is happening to the city constantly. And when I was first on your show, that was literally in the aftermath of what you saw firsthand. But I guess it's still quite difficult to realize it until you're physically there. But 18 people are dead already. I expect that number to rise beyond 20. But what was wild about this morning was, and I didn't realize it until after we left, but that building on the right hand of the street was a British consulate building. It's a British government building with British government employees in it that was listed. The Russians knew that building existed, and so did the EU delegation building on that street. A week after Russia put drones inside, 100 kilometers inside NATO's airspace, inside Polish airspace. And I think it's a direct provocation as well. The West are now trying to look stronger to help Ukraine. They're trying to say NATO's going to step up, and Russia responds by blowing up their government buildings here. And the Prime Minister's just tweeted about it, so it's a really significant event.
Yeah.
But it's I guess we were talking when we first arrived here. You asked me, when do you think missile attacks might happen? I said, well, usually on anniversaries, Independence Day, maybe when Steve Witkoff is out of town. But with this, it was because of that. It's because Steve just left, and Russians wanted to make a point to say, we don't care about any of the rhetoric coming out of NATO. We don't care about anything. We can bomb wherever we like. We can do whatever we like. That's basically what this morning was about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he said he sent out a tweet. Just quickly, my thoughts are with all of those affected by the senseless Russian strikes on Kyiv, which have damaged the British Council building. So confirming what you had said, Putin's killing children, civilians, and sabotaging hopes of peace. This bloodshed must end. And yeah, there was 4, at least as of now, 4 children, a part of those 18. And as you said, it could rise. The thing that you also mentioned that is, I still have not, even mere kilometers away from the zero line,
Yeah.
where Russians are fighting Ukrainians, as front lines as it gets, you have civilians living their life. And then you come here and you experience something catastrophic like what happened this morning. And today, you're going to see people going out, cleaning up, and continuing life despite all of that terror. And that's, I think, obviously there's something viscerally shocking, no matter how much you think you understand that this is happening, to see the, like you said, the bodies coming out in stretchers and to really see the human toll. But there is something almost that I was more surprised about, which is the resilience of people amid that here.
Well, we'll visit that site again before sunset. And I saw it 2 hours later, and there was a hairdresser literally on that street. And the owner was sweeping glass because the whole front of the hairdresser was blown out into the street, and trying to put it into a bin while they were fixing lights and trying to put the perfume bottles back on the shelves and the hairspray bottles because they still had clients booked that day. That was on that street. It's really surreal to see, but Ukrainians basically have it in their soul that no matter what we are going through, they've been dealing with this since 2014, they just continue to live their lives. Because Russia did this as an FU to Ukraine, and Ukraine as an FU back to Russia is, we're still going to wake up in the morning, sweep up the glass, buy each other flowers, and still love each other and live life to the fullest. Because that's their way of pushing back against Russia. Russia, you saw what happened in the front line. They want people in darkness. They bombed maternity hospitals, they bombed parks, they bombed cinemas, places people like to gather and have fun.
Yeah.
They bomb people's windows so they're in darkness with boards. And the resilience comes from that. It's to say, we're not going to live in darkness. We're going to carry on our lives every day. You'll see that in the city tonight, even just down here. But it's pretty dramatic what you saw in just a short few days being here, you know?
So I think that's where we'll stop this video, just explaining what happened this morning. And then, like I said, you can be on the lookout for a lot of other updates about the experience that we just had. I'll be posting videos that we recorded while we were there. And then I'm still a little bit, just in case you're like, wait, what's the specific blank that you're talking about? I'm still a little weary just because there's a lot of sensitivity about not giving away information. And so I don't even want to accidentally give away any information about what we're doing and who we saw. But essentially, all the information we can give, we'll share, and interviews with soldiers. And then us sitting in the house, the abandoned house that we were in, doing a video like right then when we thought we were going to post it while we're still there. But then I kind of chickened out of that because it's scary to post anything while you're there because they have tons of ways of tracking you.
Yeah, the Russians pretty much can see everything within 40 kilometers of the front line. So it's good that we've basically gathered everything, and now we can put it out.
Yeah.
Now that we're back in Kyiv, so
a lot to process. Thank you all so much for watching. Caolan, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next time.